Welcome to Singapore, ladies and gentlemen, and to all Singaporeans and residents of Singapore, a warm welcome home.
Hey, what's going on there, guys? Welcome back to another prepared video, and today in front of us we have the all-new DC Designs Concorde for prepared V5, I believe for 4.5 as well, and I believe they are also going to do one for the Microsoft Flight Simulator or MFS 2020. So yeah, it's a really beautiful aircraft, as you can see from the exterior looks. You have of course the nose, which is very famous. It's obviously retractable, as I'll show you later on when we have taken off. And there are 4 Olympus engines as well, which have the afterburners or the reheats, which will be used to go supersonic. Yeah, overall very well modeled plane. As you can see from the exterior, this is not meant to be a competitor to the FS Labs. It's meant to be something of a more easy to fly from point A to B kind of aircraft, without all the technical stuff that you have to learn. Yeah, so that's what it's designed to be. On the description, the description given. So I'm working with DC Designs on this. I've emailed them for a press copy, and basically doing a review / flight with this aircraft. So yeah, I'm not sure if the GSX can board this on this aircraft, because there's no like actual cargo hold. When I click board, it will just go to the wings, into the wings. So yeah, as you can see, it's really well modeled. You have the Rolls-Royce Olympus 593 here. It's quite clear, everything. That's on the exterior side. Now let's move on to the interior. The interior isn't that great in my opinion. As you can see, it's pretty accurate, I guess, like looking at the engineer's panel, the pilot, like the captain and co-pilot, but it's pretty blurred up here. Like you can barely see what these are for, although you can vaguely tell it's like nav light, panel light, so on and so forth, but it's really too blur. And then you have the auto throttle, autopilots on the MCP here. And down here you have the GPS. There's no INS for this aircraft, it's just the GPS. So let's start up the aircraft now. So the battery is here, so you just turn it on here. Avionics, and then you turn on I think everything is fine. What we need to do is to turn on the GPS, so that's why you have the GPS here. There's no INS, so you turn this on. If you turn this on, I think later it'll work, but yeah, it's basically GPS that flies the aircraft. We need some ground power, so let's do that, and go ahead and start it up. Right, I haven't flown this aircraft that many times, so I'm not that sure on what to do. But I believe we need to start one engine before we push back, because there's no AP on this aircraft to keep it light. What we need to do is to turn on the nav lights, logo lights, seatbelt signs on, and the no smoking signs. Anything else we have to do? We have to check I think this is fine, yeah. They also have a TCAS here, pretty interesting. So let's switch this to GPS. Yep, I think we can go ahead and turn all this on. The more enunciated lights you have, which are all those yellow lights, it means it's not good, so we try to keep it to a minimal. So turn all these on. Let's go on to the page here. Whoa, that's a lot of stuff. Go from left to right. So there we go. And now over down here, switch this on, and then switch these on as well, and these can come on. Right, so we are back. Had to set the fuel stuff. We just turn everything on. I think this is how it works. Yeah. So we'll turn these on. This will go there like so. This as well, and the bottom, which is here. And we'll turn the gens on to normal, and I'll turn this on as well. Battery, I think, and I believe this is all fine. These are panel lights, and these are testing lights. This down here doesn't work. They also have some calculation stuff here. If you need to do any calculations, they'll give you some kind of working. Yeah, I believe everything is fine as of now. Now we need to start the engines. So engine starts using the, I mean, as you can see here, it says engine starting, so you can turn one on. Number 1 is powering on, as you can see from here. Hopefully it's gonna work this time. Yeah, it's actually working this time. Yeah, okay, I think I got the hang of it now. So now that that's turned on, you can see, you know, if you want to power, it's there. And then now you can turn off the GPU and go ahead and turn off the GPU. Up over here. And then we can go up and release the ground power. So the ground power, if you want to see it, it's outside here. Oh, it's turning on now. Yep. Okay, so we got that. Engine 1 has started. Now let's start 2, 3, and 4. Right, okay, so let's get all the stuff turned on. As you can see here, you can turn this on by using that thing, and then you can turn this on as well through the frequency. Yep, and this can be turned on as well. And that is done, so we can push back. I'm not sure why GSX doesn't want to work with us today. Actually, let's give me a sec. Oh yeah, it doesn't want to work with us because of the fact that we have our engine started. I don't think it detects that we need to have one engine started like the FS Labs one. But pushback underway. We got the engine started. The visor is down. So we'll arm the auto throttle, flight director, and the autopilot after this. We are aiming for flight level 40 or 4,000 feet initially. And then, yep, so pushback first, and So we'll stop the pushback right about now, and we will start taxiing to the runway. So right, so we're approaching the runway, and the visor's down, so we're pretty much set for takeoff. I just need to read up regarding the taxi and takeoff stuff. Right, so trim is fine. You can see the trim right here. It's in the okay-ish range. So yeah, we've basically set up the GPS as well. So it's onto nav. I mean GPS and not nav. So V1 is 170, and then approximately 190 knots we will be rotating, and 210 it will lift off, and we can gear up after that. Right, so just get the landing lights on and we can take off. Oops, that's not what we want. We can turn the stopes on and whatever lights we need on. Period heaters will be turned on now, and we can get ourselves on the way. Alright, let's start. So reheat to on. 3, 2, 1, now. Brakes released, and let's go. So call out would be 80 knots or 100 knots, I believe. $100 knots power set. V1, rotate, and positive climb, gear coming up. Aim for a 20-degree climb to 4,000 feet. And try and maintain the speed. I try to, I think the wind is a bit twitchy. I'll try and maintain that angle of attack. And approaching 4,000 feet. 3, 2, 1, noise. Lower the what do you call that? The engine's power to around slightly 80%-ish. And autopilot coming on. We are going to climb up to. We're going to use the nav. Climb up to around 12,000 feet. Right, we're climbing now, and we'll check. Yeah, we're heading on the correct course. Climbing to 6,000 feet, and we will be retracting the nose soon. So we'll climb to now flight level 150. We can't just climb crazy amounts. We need to climb properly, or else we'll be wasting the precious fuel that the Concorde carries. So 150, and we'll be climbing at 2,000 feet per minute, and altitude hold. So what we'll do now is to recheck the nose. to 0. And all the way up, the visor goes. COG gauge must be checked. You'll shift it a bit to the forward side. Oops. So the gauge would be, the trim would be here. We need to shift it forward. So you click left click it to shift the fuel forward. And we are climbing now. Perfect. 6,000 feet. Speed is pretty much good. We'll set the Mach to 7.5 and let it climb. And trim should be alright now, so we'll set that back to off and close our guard. So we'll only be using the reheats once we are over water. So now we climb to flight level 400. Once over open water, we'll engage the reheat, enter in flight level 400, and then we'll be climbing to flight level 500 before we go supersonic. So right now we're just chilling at Mach 0.75. and climbing up to flight level 150. We can actually climb to flight level 240 now and check the nav page. Just minus it. So open water would be about, about there at Merli. At Merli towards Leslu, we can go up to 500, I believe. But it's a simulator, so anything can happen. You can do anything you want in it. So yeah. Alright, so we are over flight level. We are at flight level 240, and we are almost over the Bristol Channel. So what we'll do now, climb to flight level. We'll increase Mach to 0.95, climbing to flight level 400 without reheats. So we'll put the vertical speed down to 1,200. So this is, the MCP is something you won't really. It's kind of different to the FS Labs one. It's not meant to compete, as I said again. So you won't have like those knob sounds, when you're changing the altitude or the speed and stuff like that. Yeah. Alright, so as you can see, we're over the water now. I think someone passed us back there. Yeah, an aircraft passed us. So we'll be going supersonic now. So Mach 1 is set, and flight level 500 is going to be set in there. Or we can actually put 520. We don't want to climb too fast because it's going to be reluctant to climb you know, the moment we the moment we hit flight level 500, if the aircraft is still too heavy, it won't want to be climbing up to, you know, flight level 580 per se. Oops. Autopilot back on. We're going to be climbing at 2000 feet per minute. Reheats are going to be engaged now, and Mach hold at increase it to 1.5. So supersonic, I believe now, yep, we are increasing to Mach 0.99, and we should be reaching Mach 1 anytime soon. Yeah, it's gonna be right about now. As you can see from the Mach 1, we are supersonic now. Reheats are engaged, and if we can go into the cabin, and as you can see, like the real one, there is the Mach altitude and temperature here. If you want to see the interior is pretty, you know, simple. There's the door here, and it's modeled pretty accurately to what you'll see in the normal one. So yeah. So let's go back into the front. Reheats are engaged. You can see from the GPS it tells us the estimated time arrival, which is 1230 Zulu, and that's like 3-ish hours away from now. We're not at Mach 2 yet, that's why it's still, you know, not that fast. So yeah, as you can see, we're approaching Mach 1.5, and the speed is increasing so greatly. That's probably because the aircraft is a bit lighter now, and we've passed the Mach 1.5 barrier, so the aircraft is more aerodynamically efficient. Just look at this you know, weird like placement of the things. I think I have to feedback to the developer regarding this, because you see there's some numbers like very oddly placed. Even the speed here is a bit oddly placed from the program-ish here on the panel. So we are at 868 now, Mach 1.55. We're going to be increasing to flight level 500, and we will be using 1000 feet per minute. Reheats are off, so yeah, pretty alright right now. With the fuel, speed still increasing, which is good. Increasing to flight level 500. We'll look at the trimming is alright now. We can turn it off. As you can see, over time the flight will become lighter, so the CG will go all the way up to probably around 60-ish or 59. We have reached almost flight level 500, so hereby going to Mach 2, which is basically the cruising speed or maximum cruising speed that this aircraft have. I think it's Mach 2.01, but normally the aircraft uses Mach 2. Trim is starting to go a bit to the back now, so let's start shifting the fuel after, and then watch as the Mach goes up to Mach 2. So as you can see, our ground speed is going crazy. It's going to go to up to 1100 knots, which is, you know, super fast. Reheats are turned on for the moment to go to Mach 2, and then it will be turned off later on. Alright, everything looks under control. If you would like to, you can also use reheats to go up to get the extra oomph of power to go to Mach 2. But usually we don't do it after Mach 1.5 because you want to save fuel. Look at the you can look at the fuel flow. It's gonna go down over time as the aircraft becomes lighter. So we have officially reached Mach 2, 1132 knots. And going up even further now as you go up to flight level 580. Yo guys, we are actually descending now into New York. Forgot to turn on my mic, and that's why I'm re-recording this part. So yeah, you can see there's so much clouds outside, which is very nice. We're descending to flight level 300, and we are descending at a rate of 30,000 feet per minute, switching to Mach 1. So basically the engines are idle. We have reduced from Mach 2 to Mach 1.13, and the fuel is going to the aft section now. I didn't really trim it during the flight, that's why over time it just whoop went all the way up. Around 37,000 pounds left of fuel, which is pretty standard. Approach is set. So we just need to go to Delta Papa Kilo, and we need to get our speed down to about 0.95 after this. So once it's down to flight level 300, we'll try and keep it in balance. The trim. Yeah. So it's going to be quite difficult later to decrease speed, so it's better that by flight level 300 we reduce airspeed to subsonic. Oh, look at this. This is fantastic. Right, yeah, I think this is fine for now. So what we need to do is to also set the nav, which is the iOS, to land. The iOS frequency will be on the chart, so I need to open it up now. So iOS 22 left will be using a frequency of 110.9. So go ahead and put 110.9 on here, and 110.9 over there. And so what we'll do after this, once we are down to a proper altitude of probably 30,000 feet, we'll activate nav, switch to the iOS, and we should be, landing. We should be getting the localizer and the iOS as well. So yeah, we need to intercept it later. Hopefully we intercept it correctly, because I do not want to go for another approach. But alright. Oh my gosh, no, that's not right. It's supposed to be 115.9. And on the left here you can see our DME going down. So that's basically the DME to the localizer. So if I switch this to 110.9 or DPK is actually DPK is 117.7, then it will show the DME to 117.7, but we don't need to because the GPS already did that. Alright, so now we've reached flight level 300, we're descending even further down to flight level 110, and being subsonic, we will actually need to switch these. Oh, what's happening? I actually need to switch this to IS hole and switch this down to 300 knots. So you'll go into idle again. So flight level 100 is checked, and we're descending at 3,500 feet per minute to make it faster. Fuel trim can be off, so no more fuel transfer. Fuel flow checks are good, and yeah, everything should be fine now. Speed is good as well, marked 0.82, so it's actually going down. The ground speed is going down as well. And yeah, pretty much fine. But we probably have to maintain this heading to intercept, to descend to a lower altitude, because I think we're pretty much too fast. Okay, so approaching flight level 100, we have to reduce speed to 250 knots. And once we are below that, below 270, you can put the visor down. So 250 knots coming up, and we will be descending to an altitude of 3,000 feet. And as you can see from the GPS here, we're just taking a slight deviation. So 3,000 feet is checked, and then look at our speed. Must check that the speed here is going down all the way, which I have to lower the descent rate to probably 1,800 feet for the speed to drop. Realize that it's extremely cloudy today. Speed is dropping now quite drastically. It's really cool. Now we are cloud surfing. Look at this amazing stuff right there. Slowing down a lot, 350 knots now. Well, taken quite a big deviation. Might have to turn to the right, so let's do that. Let's turn towards the right. Let's actually turn to the right. So at this point, visor down to 0 degrees. You'll probably hear this sound. Probably doesn't like that because we're 20 knots above the speed that we should be deploying that. But anyhow, I try it. Speed down now to 220 knots. We're full idle basically. And we're gonna check the fuel flow. Put it to forward a bit. That's all we're gonna do, because later we have to switch it to after to ensure that the trim, during landing, we can be able to land it properly. If we have it too far forward, or there's too much fuel forward, and then won't be good. COG, it says COG set to aft bias to account for Concorde's fuel load. So auto throttle and autopilot will be turned off later. So we have approached 3,000 feet. We'll be switching it to nav and switching the ROS to on, so that we can try and get the a localizer, which will probably be soon. So we get the visor now down to 0 degrees. And then down to 5. It's extremely foggy today. Let's lower it down all the way. So what I forgot to do was to turn on the main landing lights and this light right here. I think that's all. Yeah. So right now we are practically on course. It's trying to search for the localizer. Alright guys, I've backed up myself out for an approach into John F. Kennedy because the iOS doesn't want to work. See if I turn it on now. Switch this to nav and iOS. I don't think it'll work. Yep, see, it doesn't really want to work. It's just going to another runway. So yeah, this is why I didn't want to do it. It's just too big of a hassle to even activate it. Activating it makes it goes the wrong way. So yeah, kind of disappointed. If someone could gladly teach me, probably I'll email DC Designs or Just Flight on how to get the iOS working, because it doesn't seem to want to work for me. Right now altitude is good. We got the visor all the way down, gear is down 4 green. We gotta raise the nose a bit. So our landing angle is quite high, so we might not be able to see the runway. We just have to kinda... Oh my gosh, please don't crash. Okay. Use space on the field that we have for the aircraft. So decision height, we're going to be landing. There's no clouds on this plane. They should have included it. I mean, it's quite an important thing to have in an aircraft. Right, we're approaching the runway. Just let the nose dip down a bit. Don't want to be flying too much. Auto throttle to cut and idle the power, and we should be on the ground. Nice. Spoilers, no spoilers, but reverses. Maximum reverse, maximum braking. You see the reversers deploying from the Olympus engines, and manual braking. Release the brakes, power to idle. Overkit left. And we can turn off the landing lights. We'll actually use the full length. That's quite a long landing. Alright. Welcome to John F. Kennedy. Flight time I think was around 5 hours. Our climb took quite long. So yeah. We can disable all this stuff here. Flight director as well. I think we can disable it. Landing lights off, and we can turn off the strobes. Let's taxi straight. Yeah, I believe we can use one of the gates there. Strobes can come off. And quite happy with the landing. Landing rate of -252. And yeah. Let's turn. Right, we've taxied to the terminal area, and we've got a gate right here. This is Terminal 4, I believe. We're just gonna be going straight in to park, and hopefully we're not too off. This is the well, it actually detects that this is a Concorde. That's interesting. Didn't expect that to be detected, but yep. I think we can stop now. We can stop. Yep. Nice. So parking brake set. We can connect the jetway soon. We just need the ground call. So ground call will be the ground power, and then ground power activated will be here. So we can turn off all the engines. Number 2, 3, and 4. Shut down. So, oops, that's wrong one. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right, so basically that's the end of the flight. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. It's quite a complicated-ish video that I had to film because I wasn't really too familiar with the aircraft. This aircraft is not something that you can just set everything in the FMC and just go autopilot. You actually have to stay for the first maybe 200 nautical miles to ensure that it has climbed to the correct altitude. You can't just climb straight away to flight level 580 because your aircraft will stall out and you'll crash, and you also have to keep the trim proper during the climb, or else it won't be efficient enough, so on and so forth. So there are a lot of stuff that you need to do, which is really a pilot's aircraft. Not as much as you need to do in FS Labs though, which is a good thing. But yeah, I think a lot of quirks has to be ironed out, especially look at this, way too blur, needs to be improved on. But either way, yeah, it's pretty nice aircraft to fly. Yeah, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.